From
the beginning, nothing seemed more natural than for couples to want to skate together. But it took years for the sport of ice dancing to evolve. It started as a social event. Ladies and their gentlemen danced together much as they would in a ballroom. In fact, by the 1950s, ice dancing closely resembled ballroom dancing. Foxtrots, waltzes, tangos, and rumbas were transferred from dance floor to ice, and many of the compulsory dances were invented then. By 1976, dance became an Olympic sport. This couple, Pakimova and Gorshkov of the Soviet Union, helped bring dance into a new, more athletic era. And with the development of new and inventive moves, dance shed its ballroom image. And even in the ensuing 8 years, dance has come a long way. Jane Torvill and Christopher Dean of Great Britain have dominated the sport in the past 3 years and have moved it in new and original directions. Entertaining, creative, dynamic, Torvill and Dean seldom take the ice without something new to unveil. Today we will see the first phase of ice dance competition, the compulsory dances. There are still reminders of that early ballroom era, but all with the modern look that now distinguishes the sport. And now here we are in the Zetra Ice Arena, which you have already seen as the site of hockey competition, ready now for the beginning of ice dancing. The competition takes place in 3 phases. First, the compulsory dances, which will account for 30% of each couple's final score. On Sunday, the original set pattern dance, which counts for 20%. And Tuesday, one of the most anticipated events of these games, the free dance, which will account for 50% of each couple's final score. Working with me as we follow the ice dancing competition, first, 1968 Olympic gold medalist in ladies figure skating, Peggy Fleming. And Peggy, I've talked about the anticipation which surrounds this event. Of course, it has much to do with the couple which now dominates the sport.
Yes, and we're talking about Jane Torvill and Christopher Dean of England, and they are the 3 times world champions, and they have really changed this sport incredibly. They are just stunning on the ice, so creative, and it's just wonderful to watch them. Our competition from the United States is Judy Blumberg and Michael Siebert. They're 4-time national champions, and they're very creative too, but I think they're going to be in here for maybe a medal, but I think Jane and Christopher really have this competition kind of sewn up, but they're wonderful to watch. It's exciting.
And it will be exciting to watch Torvill and Dean, as well as Blumberg and Siebert of the United States and the others. And of course, working with us as well is the man whose commentary has done so much to heighten interest in figure skating in the United States, 2-time Olympic gold medalist Dick Button. Dick, what to look for in this phase, the compulsory dances?
Well, this is the most rigid, precise, and controlled a part of the whole ice dancing scene. Remember, there are 3 dances. First, the Paso Doble, the Westminster Waltz, and the Rumba. Each of them counts for a total of 10% of the final score. And what they are dances in the ballroom style. A guy and a girl skating together and having a wonderful time to particular pieces of music, and the steps are exactly as laid down in the rule book. Mark my word, there is no variation except in a slight amount of flavor. Those steps are exact. They're much like the compulsory figures in the men's and ladies singles event. And that's what the ice dancing compulsory dances are. Exact, precise, and controlled, but wonderful to look at. And that's what we're going to see in the Paso Doble.
And of course, Dick explained that the first compulsory dance is the Paso Doble. Let's briefly take a look at a diagram which demonstrates its pattern.
The dance itself appears to be circular, although the actual pattern is in the shape of a peanut. Each of these little white lines represent steps that the dancers must take, and they represent straight up and down lines, deep edges, cross rolls. You'll see, in fact, some of the cross rolls right here, the little circular lines zinging back and forth, turns, chalk-daws, wonderful kind of chassé steps, side-by-side steps. What it means is that the dancers are very upright, very straight on some, but have deep edges and deep leans in other steps. Turns. It's a simple dance, but it's very stylish, and it's a wonderful way to start off the compulsory dances in the Olympic Games.
The first couple we'll see are now warming up on the ice. Carol Fox and Richard Daly of the United States, runners-up in our national championships 5 of the past 7 years. And earlier, in a conversation with Donna DeVerona, they described to us their approach to the Paso Doble.
We'll start the competition doing the Paso Doble. In this dance, I tried to be the matador. It's the dance that the matador would do going into the bullfight ring. And he drags his cape along, and throughout the dance, he plays with the bull. And sometimes the matador, the girls, Carol, will be either the bull or the cape at different parts of the dance.
The cape.
It's a very commanding, strong dance. It's the male's dance.
And how do you feel about that when you're out there?
Well, I think that usually most of the tension is on the female on most other segments of the dances, and so I'm willing to give up this one for give up my strength to my matador in this one. But like you said, it is a very commanding dance, and I think that the female has to be just as sharp and as strong.
Carol Fox is 27 years old. Hometown is Westland, Michigan. Richard Daly is 26. His hometown is Detroit. Both of them train under a coach named Ron Luddington in Wilmington, Delaware, as do no fewer than 8 of the American skaters in pairs and ice dancing.
These are the opening preparatory steps right here. Entry steps. The dance begins. Remember, it's in the shape of a peanut. Almost round, but not quite. Look at these straight scissor steps. Straight up now, deep lean, a curving change of edge, and he does a mohawk. Now the next step, circular, around the end of the rink. Now they lead into a series of crossroads. Boom, boom, boom. Turns, and isn't it a marvelous, stately kind of marching quality? Very, very stylized.
But judges are looking for their unison, how they hold their legs, and their whole body has to be in one line and together.
Now the straight scissor steps look straight up. Now the deep lean that curves, and then the change of edge. And now these moves around the end of the rink in a circular form. Basically and formally a simple dance, but not easy, because look right here. The curve, the curve, the curve.
The judges are also looking for the flow over the ice to keep that continual movement going. How they point their toes, every line.
Carol Fox and Richard Daly of the United States will be back.
You know, Buck and I played on some great teams.
That's right, Dee Dee. But now we and the other light beer all-stars have joined a better one.
This team is up against a tough opponent, cerebral palsy, and you can help.
For every 6-pack of light beer Familiar you buy in February, Light will make a donation to United Cerebral Palsy. Look for the display where Light is sold and join the team.
If enough of us get together, we can win this one, right?
Right!
Hey.
At AT&T, we think we make the best telephones, but don't take our word for it.
Ta-da! We wanted Sharon's new phone to be as good as her sister's. And their phones outlasted 82 boyfriends, 6 proms, years of yakety-yakking, and they're still going strong. To me, there was only one way to get that same quality. Get the same phone at AT&T.
AT&T, we set the standards, but don't take our word for it. Take yours.
A new design in radial tires is rolling your way from Goodyear. Say hello to Vector.
Hello, Vector. Unusual tread you got there.
Goodyear's new Vector has a unique tread.
Crisscross curve. What are they for?
Traction. All-season traction in rain and snow.
That's what we need up here, Vector.
Plus outstanding mileage down the road. Say hello to the new design in radial tires.
Vector, sir.
Vector. Thank you, Victor. Vector, the new radial design from Goodyear.
Now here are the marks for Fox and Daly. For each compulsory dance, there's only one set of marks, and there they are. 5-3, 5-2, 5-3. There are 2 5-1s. Remember that 6 denotes a perfect score. Now here they are, 26-year-old Jane Torville, 25-year-old Christopher Dean. They have worked together for 8 years toward this bid for an expected Olympic gold medal.
Now they're taking their position down at the end of it. Look at how stylishly he holds her hand in the air. Takes his hands on his hips, her hands on her hips, the tilt of the head, the line right there, isn't it? I mean, that's sensational. It's just the way they take the ice and command it as they do these preparatory steps into the start of the Paso Doble. They're not starting quite yet now. They're starting right here. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Side step. Now look at how straight the scissor step goes. Now the sudden curve and the lean, and the curve again, the change of edge, the mohawk, these steps completing the circle, the bottom of the circle around. Now they prepare to go into the crossroads. 1, 2, 3, and watch her quick move right at the end of the step, and they start to dance all over again.
What is interesting for me is this couple, you're watching the man just as much as the woman, and that's very unusual in ice dancing.
The start of the third repetition of the dance right here. Again, the straight chasse, the straight steps, the scissor steps, the curves, the change of edges, and the completion of the overall circle around the bottom as they step here forward to go into those crossroads again. Now watch, each one on an outside clean edge. Very perfect, very precise. They have good strength that comes out of the speed that they have in the dance, the force that they get without appearing to apply force to the movement.
They are just absolutely fantastic.
Jane Torval and Christopher Dean. Now another closer look in slow motion.
Okay, let's take a look at this unison that they are so well known for. How close their feet are together. And those deep edges that you're seeing. Just beautifully done.
And now the scores. Remember that a mark of 6 represents perfection in this sport, and there they are, 5-8, 5-8, 5-8, 5-9 from the British judge, 5-8, 5-7 from the Czechoslovakian judge, 3 more 5-8, and a good start for Torval and Dean, who will be tough to catch from here on in. And next will be the 4-time American champions, Judy Bloomberg and Michael Siebert. Earlier, Donna De Verona asked them about the importance of this, the Paso Doble, to them.
Well, I think it's real important to go out with the paso, which will be the first compulsory that we have to do, and make it consistent, sure, positive, and we are here, and this is our time.
Yeah, it's very important to perform it well. It's your first impression. It's the first time they see you outside of the practices, and you got to make it obvious that you're there to compete and to be the best.
It can really set the tone for the competition. And so that's what we're really looking for on that very first dance. We still have 2 more the rest of that day.
Judy Bloomberg is 26 years old, originally from Tarzana, California. Michael Siebert, 24, originally from Washington, Pennsylvania. They live and train in the New York City area now, hopeful here of a bronze or perhaps even a silver medal.
One of the important things to watch there on their pattern is the fleetness of the line, the speed, just how well they move over the ice, and the deepness of the edges, the strength of those edges. That's the strength of Blumberg and Siebert. Right here, the curve, the swing roll, right there.
Very steady upper body, too, and it's just moving those feet across the ice. Remember, all the dancers are doing exactly the same steps, but they can express with their upper body.
Here the curve, now the cross, and the swing mohawk, stepping backwards. It's just incredibly stylish.
So that is the beginning for Judy Bloomberg and Michael Siebert of the United States. Now a closer look at some of their footwork.
Now look at the side stepping here. The Dean, you can see the edging, how strong and how powerfully on an edge they are. And here, the cross rolls that they do. Now, the swing forward. Look at how crisp it is.
And the scores are significantly lower than those which were awarded to Torval and Dean. 5-4, 5-5, 5-5, 5-7, two more 5-5s, a 5-3 from the Italian judge, 5-6 from the American judge.
Chevrolet taking charge. Fire, ignite the fire. Ignite the fire.
Camaro, hottest selling 2+2 in the land, yet priced under $8,000. Priced to light your fire.
Fire,
Chevrolet Camaro.
ignite the fire.
Don't leave Earth without it. Chevrolet, official U.S. cars and trucks of the 1984 Winter Olympics.
Daddy, apartment, Daddy.
Small, but it's nice.
I'll go check on dinner.
Oh, I brought you something.
Inglenook. You make me feel special.
Well, call it my toast to your independence.
Come on, Daddy. You know I'll always need you. And you fill the moments with wine, England.
Can I still call you Squirt?
The wine that celebrates you.
From the majesty of the French Alps to the playgrounds of London, from the streets of Paris to the fiery deserts of the Middle East, comes Lace, a tale of loyalty and betrayal.
When it's a senator's word against a sex symbol's word, who's going to listen to the senator?
Of love and vengeance.
I wanted to make each of you suffer.
Now, the runaway international bestseller becomes the television event of the year. Come in from the cold and feel the heat of Lace, starting February 26th on ABC.
Next up are the two-time Soviet champions Natalia Bestyamanova and Andrei Bukin, two-time runners-up at the World Championships to Torval and Dean. It's worth noting that both previous Olympic gold medals in this sport were won by Soviet couples, but of course Torval and Dean are expected to break that pattern this year.
They're a very flamboyant couple. You'll watch how they express themselves. She always has fabulous costumes.
Even though they're restricted in this dance to the exact steps that are here, they do it by adding more movement per measure, I think, than any other skater in the business.
She has a very unusual extension of her leg. Look at the back. It just gives a nice straight line. It almost bends the other way. That gives a very long, long line to their stroke.
Watch these steps around the end. The slow continuation of the circle. He stepped forward. Now watch the cross rolls. 1, 2, 3, right there. And her final turn right at the very last. That turn must be at the end. If it's any earlier, it's a strict markdown. And the dance starts and repeats itself. Here they come again to the swing right here. And the cross rolls. Now watch her turn right there with that mohawk.
That flare at the end is very typical of their skating, and you'll see more of that in their free dance.
On paper choices for the silver medal here, Natalia Bestyamanova and Andrei Bukin of the Soviet Union.
Okay, here's a slow motion of that extension I was talking about. And watch that leg in the back. It just gives a nice long line right there. That's what the judges are looking for, is that unison, that long look and very smooth.
And the scores: 5-5, 5-7, 5-7, 5-6, 5-7, 5-6, 5-7, 5-6, and a 5-4 from the American judge. Now here, a young American couple with bright prospects. Lisa Spitz, 20 years old, from Short Hills, New Jersey. Scott Gregory, 24, from Syracuse, New York. They train in Wilmington, Delaware.
This is the all-American couple, if you ever saw one. They are just darling.
third at our national championships this year behind Bloomberg and Siebert and Fox and Dallas.
They have a great deal of freshness to their skating, a kind of American swing and athleticism to them, a little bit less stylish than some of the more controlled pairs.
They're very expressive with their head movements. Remember, they all are doing the same basic steps in this dance, but they can express with the upper body to emphasize some of these moves.
One thing is hard to believe quite how athletic and difficult these dances are.
Fitz and Gregory of the USA, and as they await their marks, let's listen to what they told Donna Deverona earlier about what this experience of being at the Olympics means to them now.
Scott, when you think of this experience here in Sarajevo, is this the end, or is it just part of the journey? What do you think?
Well, it's part of the journey, and we look at maybe 1988. This is our first Olympics, so we're just going to come and have a good showing. And
this is just an experience and education for us, more than anything.
Well, if it is that, does that consideration help you put the pressure aside? I mean, like somebody comes here like Torval and Dean, and everybody expects them to win.
Sure. It takes a lot of the pressure off for us.
You know, at home, everybody says, bring home the gold. But for us, you know, that's not realistic unless everybody ahead of us broke their leg. So we don't really have
Our
that
goal would be top 10.
When you sit down and discuss your performance as a couple, what percentage is technical and what percentage is emotional?
I'd say 80% is emotional and 20% is technical.
Because it's mind over matter. It really is.
Much of the audience here disappointed at the marks for Spitz and Gregory. You see them 5-2, 5-0, 5-2, 4-9 from the British judge.